I made this maze table thing that uses the gyro sensor in the hub to get the ball to go from the start to the finish. It's fantastic fun. Check this video out if you want to see how I made it and how I coded it. So I used the gyro sensor to make one motor be reactive to the roll and the other one to react to the pitch of the hub. I place the ball on there, tilt it. When I use the roll, the plate goes up and down. When I use the pitch, it goes left and right. I join lots of frames together and I used a black beam in the middle of two frames to make it nice and symmetrical and balanced. Problem with joining frames together, often the holes don't line up if you want to make something symmetrical, so I place a beam in the middle of the two frames and just joined all the frames like this and put one motor on each side. One that was going to turn the plate up and down, the other one that was going to turn the plate left and right. So that's what I started with, basic frame like that. And then I had to build the actual maze. Now when it comes to the maze, again, if you join two plates together, it doesn't really line up symmetrically. You can't put a pin in the end like that. You'd often add a beam across there, so you could add the double pinned piece. But when you do that, it doesn't quite line up beautifully. You're better off having a gap down the middle and then filling that gap up, and then you'll have a very symmetrical shape. So if I put a lot of little yellow pieces in there. I just wanted it to stay consistent with the yellow color theme. I mean, I could have put much longer beams in there, might have been a lot less mucking around. But I also stood a couple of the L-shaped beams in there to act as obstacles for the ball, but others were just there to make the plate nice and flat, but also symmetrical. So down the middle there, that's where I'm going to get it to tilt left and right. I put those, I put the L-shaped pieces in there, but then the ball might not go through if they're on the wrong angle, so you have to adjust the angle for the ball to go through. Once I'd put them together, I put the beam on, and then it was really nicely balanced. I could tell that it was going to go really nicely left and right. So I added lots of beams and even pins to make some sort of maze. If you make something like this, you can make up your own design. This is a fairly simple one. You could make more complicated ones if you like. If you had more plates, you can make it massive too. I often thought I could go with 4 plates, but I wanted it to be relevant to most people. Most people have got 2 plates if you just got a single kit. And then I made sure the ball could make it all the way through the maze, especially through that part that was sticking up. But also I made sure that the ball could travel through all different parts of the maze and there wasn't any spot where it was actually going to get stuck. I adjusted the pins. You can put different pins in different spots to provide obstacles for the ball. The key is not to make it too hard, but not to make it too easy. So the ball travels through pretty well. It's probably a little bit easy, but I could actually work on it and make it more difficult if I wanted to. Then this is how I basically added up. I had one of those long axles that I got in the expansion set. You don't have to have a long one, but one side is going to lift up and down and the other side is going to rotate the board or the table left and right. So that's how I decided to do it. I decided to have a beam lifted up and down, and then the motor just to turn it directly left and right. So this one on the left plugged into the table and it would turn it left and right, and the other motor would make it go up and down. And I mean, it wasn't perfect because it wouldn't go straight up and straight down, but it was good enough for my purpose. I put a little bush on there too to hold it in place, but there was enough flexibility for it to move a fair bit. So it should always start in a flat position, and I'll show you how to code this shortly, and then you just use the gyro sensor to get the ball out. So this is how we code it. So we're actually going to make a stack for each motor, and when you press play down the bottom of the screen, then both stacks run at the same time. So to start with, we're going to look at motor C, and we're going to choose this one that says go to the shortest path. And basically it's going to tell the robot to move its motor to a certain exact position at the very start. Now, motor C is our motor that kind of makes things move up and down. And when I put my device in the ultimate position, assuming we've already made it, you can click up here and you can see how many degrees it is if you put it in the ultimate start position. And for mine, my ultimate start position was about this. It was about 200 degrees. So I'm going to say at the very start, I want my robot's motor C to go to that position. And that'll pretty much put it in a level position. And for the other motor, if I put it left and right in the middle, it worked out to be about 270. So I'm going to say for one motor, I want it to be 200 degrees and the other one 270. Now your values might be different. Okay, it depends how you position your motors. If you build something like this, you just got to turn it on, connect, put it in the best starting position, and then see what it says here for each motor. Just remember which is which, okay? My C motor definitely makes the board move up and down, and that's using the roll of the gyro. You can see the roll up here. If it's flat on the ground, it should be around -1 to +1. So it might be 0 if it's flat on the ground. It should be 0 roughly if it's flat on the ground. Okay, 1 or 2 degrees isn't going to make a lot of difference with this anyway. Put your hub flat on the ground and then put your maze in the ultimate flat starting position and check out these two values. And we're going to use those two. You might even want to write them down somewhere. 200 degrees and about, I think it was 270, yeah. Now that's level and that's what the readings are. Like I said, yours might be different. Could be completely different. You could have 90 degrees in there somewhere, or you could have 135 degrees. Depends how you build it. Anyway, just take note, and then here we are going to make it actually say 200 here, because that's our starting position up there. You can see them up here as well. And then we can set the speed. Now 75% is a pretty good speed. If you feel like it's moving too quickly, you might want to slow that down to something like 50%. And then we're going to have a forever loop, because we're going to tilt it and it's going to recognize the gyro sensor over and over again, not just once, but every time we change the tilt or the roll, pitch, whatever, then the gyro sensor is going to activate the motors to match whatever the pitch or roll is, if that makes sense. All right. What we actually need to do is create a couple of variables. Now, variables are really useful because a variable is a number that can change, or a value that can change. And because our values are going to change a lot every time we tilt the hub, the numbers or the values are going to change, aren't they? So we're going to use a variable, and we're going to call one, which is the target of motor C. And we can even just make it clear here by saying up and down. You can call it whatever you like, but I like to say the target of motor C when it's going up and down. And then you've got a few options here to play with. So we're going to say set the target. Now, we have to take into consideration the roll angle when we're talking about up and down for my particular maze table. So we're going to grab this block here, which is a little pill that we can change to roll, and we're going to stick it inside one of these operators because we want it to calculate things. We want it to calculate the roll plus whatever we started with in here. So we need one of these pills that has a plus sign, and we'll put 200 in there. So this value is going to be created based on the starting position and whatever the roll degrees is. It starts at 0, so as soon as we tilt it, this value is going to go up or down. If it adds a negative number, it's going to go down, and if it adds a positive number, it'll go up, won't it? So we can pop that in there. The target where we want it to move is going to be the starting position plus whatever the roll is, okay? But that doesn't do anything to the robot. That just helps it just creates a number. It doesn't actually do anything to the robot. We have to make the motor move in reference to this. So we need to go back to motors up here, and we'll go the shortest path one again. Make sure it says C because we're using motor C. And in here, we're basically going to put this whole thing here. If you go back to variables, it's just up here in the form of a pill. We can pop it there. So, over and over again, it's going to calculate what the roll is plus the starting position, and then it's going to move the motor into that position. If that makes sense. Now that just does the motor that makes the board go up and down. Motor C on my robot. But here, we need to add another variable, and we're going to call that one target D left and right. So this is how much it's going to tilt left and right. And you'll see we can actually just duplicate all of this. So right click on it, or hold it down if you're on a tablet. And then we're going to make these all D, because we're dealing with motor D now for the left and right movements. We don't want that one anymore, and we want to change this to left and right. And our starting position for D was actually 270. Whatever your starting position for D needs to go in there. And instead of roll, we're going to talk pitch, because pitch is completely different to roll, isn't it? Pitch is how much it's going to go left to right, and roll is how much it's going to go up and down. Alrighty, now here we need to grab this one left and right and put in there. I found the first time I tested it, it was a bit violent. It moved too much too quickly. So I decided, instead of just dealing with every time it moves 1 degree, I would make my table move 1 degree. I decided to halve how much, I halved how many degrees it was. And if I halved, like if I tilted it 90 degrees, then it would only tilt 45 degrees, if you know what I mean. If I tilted it 10 degrees, it would only tilt 5 degrees. And I just had to add in another operator in here. So here, in operators, grab the one that has a multiplication sign, the asterisk or star, and instead of roll angle, we're going to do roll angle, multiply that by half, 0.5. So that just makes it turn a lot less violently, a lot less drastically. And I could just duplicate that, pop that in there, and then we could take this one out and pop that in there, make sure it says pitch, and that should be good now. So now if I tilt it like 20 degrees, the board itself is only going to tilt 10 degrees. And I found that was a little bit easier to control the marble. Here's a shout out to my members, especially my newest one at the top there, Zekiye, Demirezen. Good on you. Thanks for joining. I hope I pronounced that right. I really appreciate my members. And if you like that video, check out my playlist of all my lessons here.